Good morning, good morning. Today is Wednesday, November 19th. It's 6:08 a.m. Central Time. So quick look at things here really quick. So we got the cues here on the options flow from the last 3 days, and you can kind of see things have kind of cooled off as far as both um, puts and call premium, which is kind of interesting. And then put premium kind of fell off yesterday while volume picked up. So that is just something to keep in mind as we go into today, and then Q has been selling off. Um, we have we're currently at around this kind of negative gex and a nice little cluster of dark pool levels on the Qs, and so we'll just kind of see how that goes. I would say just because this is all negative gex land, any big moves in either direction may continue if you subscribe to that theory. I don't see any other big dark pool areas, which is interesting. So we'll just definitely keep an eye on that. For SPY, uh, so interesting here on the SPY, we have a lot of the call volume picking up, right? And so that people are more bullish, and volume was actually more bullish yesterday. So that's quite interesting to watch. And so we'll just see how today pans out as we've sold off. And here we're kind of at this negative gex level. So if we spike up, we could go up, or if we flush, we could go down. But I don't see any big dark pool transactions kind of where we are. So it's kind of interesting there. I would expect more dark pool transactions, but because we're coming to the support level, but we're not. We have not. So quite interesting. And then for gold, if we look at how we shook out, like the beginning of the day was kind of muted on the volume front, then kind of in the green, and then calls came in towards the end of the day too. So more bullish sentiment. Now we don't know this premium, like I don't know when the expiry is. Maybe it's expiring next month or next year, who knows? But it's just directionally where people are betting. So that is just something to be aware of. I think maybe we're kind of cooling from all the sell-offs, and we do have a nice dark pull level here. So this could act as an interesting level for us just to keep an eye on for gold. Um, so when I look at this, I'm like, well, I'm cautious on the downside, just because of a lot more green, green, green on the options front, and then we are kind of hitting some interesting support levels on price. Um, Gold has a nice dark pull here, negative gex, kind of both for Q and SPY. So any like directional big push, I think it may continue in that direction, whether it's up or down. So that is just something to kind of keep in mind. When I look at what the AIs are saying here, so NQ sentiment is neutral to bullish, ES sentiment neutral to bearish, and gold sentiment is bullish. So it looks like um, sentiment's kind of turning around. And if we look at Claude really quick, dun dun dun. So NQ bearish, strong sell, interesting. Um, ES, is this ES bearish? And then gold is bullish. So that's interesting. So Claude has us kind of more direct, I think. So we'll see. My chat GPT is having some problems, so we won't check that. Things that are coming up. Let's see. Today we got NVIDIA earnings after market close, so that's a big deal. We also got FOMC minutes apparently. So I think, hmm. So since we have FOMC minutes and NVIDIA earnings, maybe it's a bunch of kind of consolidation this morning. Maybe we'll have a slight move in the morning, and then, or who knows, maybe we just sell off into it, or maybe we rise and grind up into it. I'm not sure, but um, given that we have some pretty heavy news at the end of the day, I think maybe you'll have some movement in the first hour, and then after that, it's probably just step away and wait for this news to shake out. And then tomorrow we got jobless numbers, so I think this will be for October or September. I'm not sure. So we'll just kind of see how that pans out. So things to look forward to. And then we got PMI flash on Friday. So there you go. So we got some catalysts coming. And on the chart front, before looking at my trading chart, let's look at the indexes here. Doot, doot, doot. So we had this nice push down now back into, so we swept those two wicks that I mentioned yesterday. So we definitely swept those out. And now we're kind of rebounding. And so let's see if we can kind of continue. So that is a big deal to watch. We'll just see how we trade here in this range. So there you go. I mean, I feel like maybe we could bounce here. Same thing for the SPY, for the Russell, right? Let's see if we break that high and bounce. And then also for the Dow. So, I mean, this looks like it wants to bounce. So we will see how that pans out. Then we got the VIX kind of eking up. So that is something to pay attention to. Dollars pushing up, treasury yield slightly pushing up, and in gold definitely pushing up and kind of strong here in the pre-market. So let's see what we do when we get to this 4150 level, or if we break down there. So I mean, yesterday it felt like down. Today it feels like either pause or up potentially is within play, just given the bounce. But hey, if we break and we go, I just don't know that we would break and go today. It all really depends on, I think, the job numbers, Nvidia earnings, and maybe the FOMC minutes if it gives an indication that December rate cuts won't happen. I think it's like a 50-50 chance at this point. So we shall see. But also, this is a very strong support level, this whole zone right here for NQ. So, we'll see. But yeah, it feels like maybe there might be a bit of a bounce today, but definitely open to more downside. But, you have to be open for the upside as well. If we look at mega tech, let's see how things are shaking out. Apple holding up really well. Microsoft kind of at this like break support point. Amazon just going down, down, down. That's not good. Wow. So Google pre-market up. So holding up strong. Feels bullish there. Meta down, but a little bit up pre-market, $1. So there you go. Nvidia earnings. So let's see. We are basically pre-market where we closed. So I got a bunch of alerts just seeing which direction we go for Nvidia. So that's something to pay attention to. Tesla, kind of trying to recover from that sell-off, and then the Qs are the Qs. Yesterday closed on the red, swept, got that support and kind of near this low of the tariff fiasco stuff or the rare earth stuff. So we'll see if that holds. Let's see. It should hold, but you never know. And then on the super spy front, we got Broadcom holding up. We got Berkshire making a recent new high. We got JP Morgan coming off of the highs. So let's see. LLY is still kind of holding up here. Visa broke down a little bit, broke that support. So let's see. We've been kind of consolidating. So let's see if we keep going. Let's keep an eye on that. Netflix. Yeah, I still think it's kind of retesting. So let's see if it keeps going down. Ooh, Costco starting to break support. So let's see. And SPY is the SPY, kind of similar to the Qs. We got this support zone right here. So we'll just see how that kind of pans out. So again, it feels like things are trying to hold up today. So I'm not trying to rush any shorts. Open to it for sure, but not trying to rush any shorts. So we shall see. And then so on the trading chart, so I'm going all in on my CVD candles and just kind of using the color coding on all of the charts. So I got my 1 minute, my 1 hour, and my daily. And I also have the imbalances from the footprint, just so kind of keep those there. So I think we'll kind of play with that. I was trying to show like the delta levels, but I'm just doing the imbalances on the delta. So we'll see if that is good. And so on the Q, or no, this is the ES. So electronic trading hours. So I'm definitely just going to watch for how we really behave here at the high. So I'll put that level. So we're right at it. So let's see if we can break and hold above. And I will be happy to ride it at least to previous day high up until all the selling kind of pressure here in balance. So that would be interesting. But if we can't hold it, maybe, if it looks strong and we want lower, I think maybe we go lower, at least to the lows. Not going to try to break new highs or new lows on it, but I think that is kind of what I'm looking for. And very similar to on the Qs here. Um, so let's see if we can kind of break highs and hold above, and I can ride it up to there, or if it falls over, ride it back down to one of these levels, depending on when it starts to turn. So nothing too crazy on that front. And then on the gold, so gold is up. So I'm not looking for a short just yet. And actually, let's look at on the hourly. Yeah, so even on the hourly, it's definitely green and up. And we broke that high. So maybe up could be the way for gold. And you look at the daily, yeah, look at the daily here, right? Like CVD volume is green. It's cleared this HMA. And so let's see if we can at least come back up to here, like this 100. Yeah, I mean, I think at least to here is super within play. But then, maybe we just kind of push back up. I don't know if we break this high, but I think between this wick and this open, I think is a very clear direction up. But if it can't clear this HMA, maybe we kind of break down, and try to test here this 485 as support. So I'll kind of play that just kind of intraday and just kind of see how we go with that. But definitely open to it, but you can't fight the strength. So that is what it is. Cool. Well, that is it for me. Open to both sides today. Looks like we do kind of want to bounce a little bit. So we'll just see if we do that with earnings and all that stuff coming in the FOMC minutes. All right. Well, that is all I got. Good luck and don't get caught.